Hello, my name's James Malfetus, and I just want to thank you so much for downloading your one-page marketing plan, showing you how you can get a minimum of 2 new clients every month forever. You know, I deal with so many accountants, and they just don't all take action, so they never actually go ahead and improve their businesses. So I want to congratulate you for being one of the progressive professionals. So by way of quick introduction, I'm a chartered accountant who left the profession all the way back in 2011 to concentrate on internet marketing, which is really just the process of selling services and products online. I'm also the author of the international #1 bestseller called Accounting Clients on Tap, and this is the book that this entire system is based on. I just want to walk you through this one-page regular accounting client blueprint that you requested so that you know exactly how to use it. What I want to do is to show you a case study of how I use it to get 40 new clients from a single webinar so that you can see how to practically apply it. You also have my full permission to swipe it for use in your own business. In fact, nothing would please me more than if you were to swipe it and to actually use it in your own business. And then at the end of this video, I'll show you how to actually get your customized one-page marketing plan implemented. So let's begin. This one-page system will allow you to get at least 2 new clients every month forever. When you implement it, of course. So that's a minimum of 24 new clients every single year as long as you take action. Now there are 3 main steps, and then each of these main steps is broken down into 3 smaller steps, and those are the blocks that you see numbered 1 through 9. This blueprint allows you to go from point A, where maybe you've got unpredictable lead flow and client flow, or maybe you've actually got no clients at all the way through to point B, where you never have to worry because you've got regular clients coming into your practice month after month. So step 1 is known as the foundation. And the first thing that you've got to do in the foundation is to define your ideal client, which we call your avatar. The most important thing in marketing is knowing who your avatar or your ideal client is. Because when you do, firstly, you know exactly where to find them, and you know what services and products you need to provide them to solve their biggest problems. Let's jump into the case study now. You'll know that you're looking at the case study by that small icon, and mostly it's going to be on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Now, to be honest, this system actually works for all service providers, but it's always a good idea to choose a particular niche. And I chose to serve accountants because after 25 years in the industry, I really understand them intimately because, after all, I am an accountant. I would have to work so much harder to serve any of the other professions because I first have to learn all about them. And this, my friends, is the power of specialization. I then went ahead and I built a detailed description of who my ideal client was. And I did this firstly by speaking to them, and I also did some secondary research online. And in the end, I ended up with 3 typed pages of detail. So you could say I kind of knew them intimately. Let me show you what I mean. So here's just an extract of the demographics of my ideal client. So John is a 42-year-old Caucasian father of 2. His kids are in primary school. He's happily married and he lives in a bustling city with a lot of activity and development. He earns $75,000 per year, and he lives in a nice 4-bedroom house in a nice upper part of a middle-class area. John also has a postgraduate degree in commerce and finance. I then did some online research to discover where they hang out. I identified blogs that they read, forums, Facebook and LinkedIn groups where they take part. I also looked at associations and institutes that they were members of, and a whole lot more. And what I'm going to do a little bit later on when I talk to you about traffic is I'm going to show you exactly how I use this information to get 160 accountants onto my very first webinar. While I was doing this research, I identified so many problems, fears, and frustrations that they had. And these were things like not being able to raise fees, not having enough time, and struggling with regular cash flow. But the biggest problem that they all wanted to solve right now was how to get more clients. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how I use this information to craft a killer message that resonated with my ideal client. So as you can see, I knew exactly who they were, I knew exactly where to find them, and I knew exactly what they wanted most. Now, the best way to communicate how you solve your clients' biggest problems is by creating a world-class visual representation of your unique blueprint or process. Now, for most accountants, this is going to be your core service or your core offer. This is your one-page roadmap to visually show your clients, as opposed to just telling them, a clear path from their frustrations to achieving their goals. Your signature system, just like mine, consists of 3 main steps or milestones. Now, usually the first milestone will be some type of foundational or preparatory work. Now, I'm actually covering this foundational section with you right now in my signature solution. And then the next milestone, which is step 2 that you see there, is normally some sort of process work. And then the last step is the implementation so that we can actually go ahead and get results. Now, you're currently looking at my signature solution that I used to fully explain what I do to my accounting clients. And it was this very visual representation that enabled me to get 40 of the 160 accountants that were on that webinar to pay me a consultation fee so that I could help them to implement their version of the signature solution or their signature service in their practice. That is how powerful this visual representation is. Now, you're obviously going to have to wait a little bit longer to see how this plays out so that you get to see the full visual representation of my signature system. Now that you know who your ideal client is and what they want the most, all that remains for you to do is to craft your what I call magic message that's going to resonate with your ideal client so they will automatically be drawn to you as soon as they see it. So all you've got to do is simply use this formula. So the formula is I help, and then you insert there your ideal client to achieve the thing that they want most. And what's important here is that we tell them that we're going to do it in a specified time frame so that they can solve their biggest problem without something that they hate. Now, I know that sounds like a bit of a mouthful, so let me show you my magic message that resonated so strongly with my ideal client. I help progressive accountants to get at least 2 new clients a month forever in 90 days or less so that they can stabilize cash flow and become financially free without having to spend any more time in the office. Now that completes the foundational step, which of course is the first part of the signature solution. The second step in my signature solution is now to build your sales funnel, which really is just an online process to convert your prospects into paying clients. Now your funnel is made up of various web pages or URLs. Now the good news is that every funnel consists of just 4 basic components that I'm going to show you now. So they are what we call your lead magnet. Then there's what we call your authority positioning page. That leads them to a conversion event, and that conversion event hopefully is going to lead them to closing the deal, which of course in our case is going to be to get you a face-to-face consultation with your prospects. Now, before you can design an effective funnel, you need what is known as a well-defined value ladder. So a value ladder consists of a range of services and products that you offer to your clients with prices ranging from free to thousands of dollars. Now, free or low value services and products are used to attract new prospects into your business while you continue to increase the value of your offerings as you go ahead and you build trust over time. Now, a strong, fully developed value ladder enables you to massively increase the lifetime value of your clients. So this is how a typical value ladder is structured. So at the bottom, there's what we call the free educational products or content, and this is known as a lead magnet, and we use that to attract new prospects into our business. So my lead magnet in this case was the free webinar. And of course, on the free webinar, they also got CPD points and CPE certificates for attending. Then what you're going to do is you need to have some lower price products to give your prospects a low risk opportunity to see what it's like to work with you. So some of my lower price products included a copy of my book for just $7. And of course, as you'll see in a moment, some discounted initial consultation fees. Then the next thing is what we all generally have, and that's our core service. And that's the main product or service that you offer. So my core service at that time included coaching and consulting. Now here's the important part. A good value ladder is going to have some type of recurring monthly revenue. And it's also going to have a very high ticket product because there's a small portion of your clients, normally about 5%, that will pay you very handsomely if you give them the opportunity to do so. So what I did is I offered a retainer service as a monthly recurring income generator. And then, of course, I went ahead and I actually built and implemented sales funnels for my clients. And this was my high ticket item. So this gave me an opportunity to help people for as little as $7 by giving them a copy of my book, all the way through to where I was able to charge them thousands of dollars for actually helping them to implement an online sales funnel. As you know by now, the best way to start attracting new clients is to create a piece of educational material called the lead magnet, and that we give away free to our prospects in exchange for their contact details. Now, the job of this lead magnet is simply to solve a small piece of their problem as quickly as possible in a very visual way, and the trick here is that it's got to be very quick to consume and easy to digest. And then after exchanging the contact details for your lead magnet, then obviously you have to give it to them. So what you've got to do is you send them to a thank you page to tell them how they can actually download it. Now here's the big secret. On this page, this is where you establish what I call your authority positioning, while simultaneously starting to build a long-term relationship. And you do this by walking them through the lead magnet so that they know exactly how to use it while you're actually pointing out to them that it's only a small part of your bigger signature service. Now, just by the way, I'm sure you've worked this out by now, but because you opted in for my lead magnet, which is of course the regular accounting client blueprint, that's going to get you a minimum of 2 clients per month, every month forever, you are currently watching my authority positioning video. Now, what you're going to do at the end of your authority positioning video is you're also then going to send your prospects through to that conversion event that we spoke about a little bit earlier. So even though I was offering them a free webinar, I just gave them a very short 4-minute whiteboard video that explained what a sales funnel is. And I did this in a really fun way. So what I was doing was I was solving one problem for them of how to get clients. Now, this video established my authority positioning, and it gave my prospects confidence that I actually knew what I was talking about. I then told them that in order to learn how all of the pieces of the funnel fit together, including the bits that I couldn't cover in the video, they would have to attend the webinar. So there was a very, very clear call to action for them to register for the webinar. And then after they registered for the webinar, they got to see a video very similar to the one that you're watching now of me telling them what I was going to cover on the webinar and strongly encouraging them not to miss it. Now, your conversion event is essentially your call to action that gets your prospects to book that consultation with you. And this could be a webinar like it was in my case, or it could be a video sales letter, or it could be even much simpler. It could just be you requesting them to book a consultation or a strategy call with you. So it's you sending them to go ahead and book on your online calendar. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time explaining the psychology of the sales funnel that I used because it is so powerful. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people have such a massive, what I call aha moment when they see this. And for accountants, they genuinely seem relieved when they see this, because what it does for you is it actually eliminates the need for you to have any high pressure sales tactics in order for you to actually convert your prospects into clients. Now, you've already seen my lead magnet and the authority positioning. The webinar, of course, was actually a combination because it was also the conversion event in this case. So the webinar served to further reinforce my authority positioning because now they had a chance to spend an hour with me as I taught them the detailed steps that they needed to follow to implement the sales funnel. And then at the end of the webinar, I just made them a very, very low pressure offer. I simply offered those who felt that they could benefit from the opportunity to have an hour consultation with me for a discounted fee of just $50. I also offered them a copy of my book, as well as some videos showing them how to implement their own sales funnel. Now, the total value of this package was more than 10 times the asking price. But the best part, other than, of course, the fact that they actually paid me for a consultation that I used to give away for free, is that when they came to the consultation, their mindset was actually one of entitlement. So what I mean by that is that they paid for the consultation in order to get a problem solved. So this means that they were very open when they came to see me, and they told me about all of the problems that they were having. So all I had to do was what I do every day anyway. I just listened and I simply answered their questions, and I went through a normal consultation just like I've done many, many times before. I then solved their problem right there and then after I solved the problem, I simply asked them whether they were going to implement the sales funnel themselves or whether they would like my help to do so. So there was no pressure at all, and I converted a sizable percentage of those consultations into a full-blown sales funnel implementation project with thousands of dollars. Now that completes the second step of my signature solution. Now the third and final step is to finish. This is to implement your funnel so that you can actually start attracting ideal prospects and converting them into clients. Nowadays, the technology to get your sales funnel up and running is very easy to implement because we've got cloud-based software that exists for you to create literally any funnel that you can imagine, but the funnels you need to create are pretty simple anyway. And all of the technical headaches now belong to the vendors because they are the ones who've got to keep upgrading the software so that you don't have to worry about anything failing. Now, when I did this, I used WordPress, and I had to use a number of different plugins to build my funnel. It was such a mission because I literally had 7 different components that all had to integrate with one another. Now, today there are what we call software as a service applications, and of course those are up in the cloud. And honestly, it's literally drag and drop simple that allows you to build literally everything in one single platform. So no more of the 7 pieces of different software and having to talk to each other. And all you've got to do is you've got to tweak these ready-made templates, and you do that by simply adding your personalized information. Now, I have included links to all of these options for you in the PDF download of this regular accounting client blueprint. Now what you need to do is to decide on what the best method is to drive traffic to your sales funnel. And the good news is there are really only 3 methods. Firstly, you can use free methods like blogging, search engine optimization, or social media. You can then go ahead and use paid methods like Facebook ads or Google AdWords, or you can go ahead and use partner traffic where other people expose your services and products to their list. Now, I've got to tell you, with a little bit of ingenuity and out-of-the-box thinking, you can really come up with some great partner traffic strategies. I used the information that I gathered when I researched my ideal client to really help me here. You see, I was actually looking to work with partners of small firms who were responsible for bringing in new business and for paying the bills. So this automatically actually excluded quite a lot of quote-unquote accountants from my target market. For example, my product was not suitable for accountants in commerce and industry. It was no good for trainee accountants. And it also didn't really suit most bookkeepers that were not working for themselves. And it was no good even for managers in auditing firms. So I had to go ahead and I asked myself the $1 million question. And the $1 million question is, who has access to my ideal clients? And then I went ahead and I brainstormed results. And I came up with a whole lot of things. I came up with things like blog owners. There were obviously accounting associations or accounting institutes. We had newsletter owners or newsletter publishers, magazine publishers, and there were a whole lot of other things that I came up with as well. The reality is, if I had actually used any of these, I would have still got results, but I actually would have wasted a lot of my advertising spend on accountants who were not suitable for my service, as you saw just a moment ago. So eventually what I did was I settled on CPE providers, because I knew that it's usually only partners that attend this type of training. So what I did is I offered to exchange my knowledge in the form of a webinar with a CPE provider so that we both got value. They got free unique content for their members, and I got access to only the people that were interested in getting new clients, which is, of course, what I was selling. So as you can see, I made very, very good use of partner traffic, but I could just as easily have paid for traffic on, say, Facebook or LinkedIn or even Google. So the final step here is to outsource as many tasks as you possibly can. You see, outsourcing actually skyrockets your productivity and allows you to overcome the 2 biggest issues that accountants often have, and that's the lack of time and, of course, because we're now in the online world, a lack of technical expertise. So the 2 most obvious things to outsource are the technical issues of getting your funnel up online, which, as you've seen, the technology is quite simple, but you should still outsource it. And, of course, driving traffic into your funnel. So I've got to tell you that outsourcing is actually the secret sauce that actually allows you to put this whole new 1-page regular accounting client generation blueprint that we've just gone through on complete autopilot. Every accountant's business, including yours, is in one of 4 phases. If you have a look at this, you might be in the bottom phase. So you might be in the struggling phase where you've got no new clients coming into your business every month. Or maybe you're in what we call the surviving stage. And this is where you've got unpredictable lead flow. And this might be where you've got less than 1 client a month. And what's really frustrating is you don't necessarily know where the leads came from. And even worse, you don't know how to actually duplicate that process. Maybe you're in the thriving stage where you do have predictable lead flow every month. You may, however, still not have an automated lead generation funnel that you can scale to get new clients on demand. So obviously what you need to do now is to scale your lead generation efforts. Now, if you're in any of the first 3 phases, and particularly if you're in the struggling stage or the surviving stage, I want you to know that I've got a program that can actually get you to the next level. And because you have proved to be an action taker by watching this video, I'd actually like to invite you to jump on a 30-minute, no obligation, free Skype chat with me so that I can actually help you to identify where your business is and what you need to do to get to the next level. Now, I only have space on my calendar to do a few of these calls every week. So if this is something that you know can change your practice, then click on the link below this video, which will take you to my calendar so that you can book a time slot that suits you. Now, I just want to say thanks again for downloading your 1-page regular accounting client blueprint, and especially for taking your precious time to watch this video. You know, this system has helped thousands of people, and I just can't wait to help you to implement it so that you can become one of the success stories. So click on the link below to book your consultation now, and I look forward to chatting to you real soon in person in the very near future.